Hello, welcome back to the Lunchpail Labs channel. Today we are going to set up an Adalo component. Super exciting. If you're not familiar with Adalo is a no-code tool for building all sorts of responsive apps. They originally had started with more mobile apps, but now you can build responsive web apps. You can publish to the iOS and Android stores, and you don't have to code. And if you are a third-party developer looking for opportunities, if you are a SaaS business looking to expand your reach through integrations with other platforms, Adalo is an interesting platform to consider. Most of the users are non-technical, and so many people are constrained to the platforms and integrations and capabilities of the Adalo platform. And so you can use components to extend what is possible in Adalo. I love building components, and wanted to share just a simple setup tutorial of how you can spin up a component in Adalo, how you set them up. And then in future tutorials, I'll share how to go end to end from building a specific component. So with all of that said, let's get into it. All right, I am in my Visual VS Code. You can use whatever environment you desire. To get started, you just pop in the nifty Adalo command. And give it a name. This is going to be the name of the folder. If you decide to publish or host it on GitHub, this will also be the name of the repository. The name of the library, I'm going to keep it simple. Then you get to choose the types of components. So these are just the methods that you'll use. I typically use functional components. I'll probably put a little link in the description of the difference between functional and class components. I like to use NPM, so I put N here, but this is just around what package manager you use. And then the script will do its magic, install the dependencies, install a sample component, and do all the things that you need for your initial setup. And so we shall wait. Great. So it is set up. It's on my local device now at my root directory, the name that I put for the name of my component, Lola test component. And we have some helpful commands as well. So since I'm in Visual Studio Code, I'm just going to open this up. Boom, it's here. Great. I am in Lola's test component. And it comes already with a few different things that are useful. So already has the package JSON. In terms of dependencies, I'll also link, because I don't think they've updated the Adalo CLI, I'll link some helpful resources in the show notes here. But they use React. Now Adalo is on React 18.2 and also React Native 72.5. And it's very important for any dependencies that you use that they are compatible with those versions of React. So that's just a little, definitely things to know. Don't want to get got. Any components, other components that you add here, they'll be, you'll also need to make sure that they're included in your index.js. Adalo JSON, this is where you configure all of the information that is available for your components listing on the marketplace or if it's privately, when users install your component, you'll also need to add a couple of other things like your support URL, but I'll make sure I also link in the show notes, just different information there. And in the source components, component 1, this is where all of the magic happens. And so the manifest is where you will configure props. These are the props that users will see within Adalo when they want to configure a setting. So things like text, if you're doing a text component, colors, tokens, all of that is going to need to be in the manifest. And then the index.js is where all of the magic is going to happen in terms of the code pieces. And so any props that come from the manifest JSON, they're going to be in this index.js. If you have a web version of the component, because all components need to be cross-platform, meaning they need to work on iOS, Android, and on the web. For some libraries, you'll need to have a web version and a native version for the component. And so if you do have a separate web version, you can change this to index.web.js, and then it'll automatically take the web version. And the example tutorial that I'll post shortly, there is that dynamic. Then the thumbnail for what the user will see when you incorporate the component. But that's really just the basic setup, how you just spin up an environment for creating a component, and then the rest is, React Native for the rest of your development there. So hope this at least gets some folks started, and thanks for tuning in. And that's it. Very short tutorial just to give a live example of how to set up a component in Adalo, what the settings mean, how to use their lovely command. And like I said, be on the lookout for future tutorials on actually building a component end to end to give an example of how you do that. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time.